But his team need him more than ever, and he delivers just.
Just 3 goals, 3 in his career to date. Can he deliver for his team when his team needs him most? And Reveal does.
Flicks it back. Here's Oscar Allen. Can he get it to go? Snaps and finishes on the left. Have Brisbane got anything left in them? And this might be the perfect start. Lohmann. Well, there you go.
It is the Brisbane Lions Fancast with JB and Patrick back again for another week. Thanks to Hop On Brewery Tours, Chris Marketing and EB by Hiker, who are offering game day packages available at their website, ebbyhiker.com.au. Some exciting news for Hop On Brewery Tours as well. They're celebrating their 10th birthday very shortly as well. More details on that to come in the next few minutes. Well,
do you mean to tell me they're not even old enough to drink? They're only 10.
I know. Yeah. We came up against the Swans severely undermanned, and look, this seems like a game that was lost a week out from even taking the field. With the amount of changes, suspensions, injuries, and then later in the week, Logan Morris not available. The writing was on the wall, but I guess we all thought and hoped that maybe we could salvage something from the performance. You know, my mind did flash back to pre-season where we fielded a fairly weak team against the Gold Coast Suns, and they put out a reasonably strong outfit, and we managed to find a way to get the job done there. Turns out that was just pre-season and it wasn't to be repeated, and the Swans got out to a huge start in the first quarter and never looked like losing. The second half was a little bit better. Managed to close the gap a little bit and, you know, correct a few things that were costing us dearly in the first half, but it was too little too late. And we really looked like a team that just hasn't played a lot of footy together. Lots of players, you know, debuting or playing their first game in a very extended period of time, and it didn't look fantastic, did it, Patrick?
No, well, it looked a bit like a bunch of cats taped together, to be honest, to borrow an expression. But yeah, it very much looked... I mean, I've got thoughts, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be here. But it definitely appeared to be a team that had 0 changes versus a team that had 5 outs. Bearing in mind, you know, 4 of those outs would be picked in any team in the competition. Sorry, Darcy Gardner, but some teams might not pick you. I would, because you deserve it to me. But, you know, all of Harris, McCluggage, Logan Morris, and who's the other guy? Bailey. That's right. They would all walk into every team in the competition. So, yeah. We got done. So, that's okay. I'll be cold and dead in the ground before I recognise a Brisbane Lions minor premiership. So, we just continue that trend as it's going, because it works pretty well for us. So, the ins were pretty strange, would you not say?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Thursday night rolled around, and I guess everyone had assumed that we would put, you know, with losing 2 key defenders, we would replace them with a key defender. And when the team sheet came out and it said Jay Tunstall and not D Joyce, I think everyone hit a little bit of a Tim Allen from Home Improvement of whoa. So it was
that was really good. Well done.
It was strange, and then we found out after the fact that Darragh Joyce had some sort of elbow infection and sort of was right to play but not right to play. And then we all thought to ourselves, well, Godspeed, Frogman, because this is either going to be your legacy game or you are going to get taught some serious lessons, and we will get to what it turned out to be later in the show, evidently. But yeah,
kind of both, I would say.
Yeah, but I mean, his performance. We'll get to the votes. He's in my votes. I would imagine he might be in yours too. Zach Ostelski fanned out against Joel Amati, and that back line. You know, Noah's first game back, Link's first game back, same Draper's first game for the club after a year off. Kitty Coleman still finding his feet a little bit. It'll be interesting to see, like, how patient the fans and the coaching staff are with Kitty. That'll be a bit of a watch over the next few weeks. I'm certainly not here saying he needs to be dropped immediately or anything like that, but that defensive lineup is looking a little bit sort of okay. But no key defenders coming in. Jimmy Tunstall played a role. As I said, Link came in, Sam Draper came in, and a couple of others that we sort of thought might get a game. Dan Annabelle played his first game and he was good. I would imagine he's going to hold his spot. But yeah, not game we're going to reflect on too much, I would have thought.
Probably not. There were elements in it where there were players cropping up all over the place at times, which kind of reminded me a little bit of opening round against Carlton a few years ago, where you're sort of like, well, what's he doing there? And what's this guy doing here? And it seemed like we were playing some sort of like brain explosion, like next level thing. And it's like, oh, well, shit, we're down 40 points. So it must just have been all hands on deck because you got people cropping up in different areas and doing all sorts of weird stuff. But yes, they got off to an absolute blinder, and I got to tell you, in the first quarter, I was pretty pissed off to be, have them scoring goals in the back half. It was very annoying, extremely annoying, and yeah, not a good time. Not a good time. What do you reckon about that first quarter? Not a good time?
No, it's certainly not a good time. Yeah, lots of costly turnovers.
I thought as much.
And then just, their ability to move the ball from back to front half very easily, especially after the Dogs where we, coughed up 5 goals from kick-ins. Now I understand that the team selection has a lot to play with that and the personnel available, to the point where we had to cancel our VFL practice match because whether they didn't have enough cattle available or they just didn't want to risk any more injuries, because you have a look at that injury list, it's as long as it's been in a few years. I guess better to have it now than come sort of August. But they were scoring way too easily.
There was definitely elements of they were accurate, so that's obviously helpful, but I reckon for that first quarter and a half, and call it making your own luck, but the amount of like bobbled balls and bounce, and they were doing this tap on thing, and commentary made it abundantly clear what they were doing, and that's all I'm going to say about the commentary.
Speaking of not a good time, that lineup was as bad as it gets.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we're in agreement that we don't dislike Montagne's play-by-play. I think he's okay, which is high praise coming from me. But he could not say Zach Ostelski to save his life. Zach Legel, Mike Bogowski. He was doing all sorts of weird stuff. But Jared Healy really put the commentator's curse on us at a certain point in the game, which I will talk about later. But yeah, when you looked at the two games, sorry, I said that this was the only thing I was going to say, but you looked at the two games and you had obviously Adelaide and Collingwood, and they put their like A triple plus team on that bad boy. Yep. And we obviously got the bottom of the barrel. What are some of those like horrible fish that sort of sit at the bottom of the ocean? Sucker fish?
Oh yeah, sand gropers or something.
I feel like sand gropers are too fancy. Whatever's worse than a sand groper.
Sure.
Like a horrid eel or something like that, but not a Eric Hipwood eel. We like those eels. That's what we got. But they were getting a lot of umpire luck at times, and they were getting a lot of bounce of the ball. It was just sort of like it's one where you just want the ball to like bounce in off someone's shin and go for a goal, but it just wouldn't happen for us for the first amount of time. And then sort of for the middle half of the game, we basically held fine with them. Like, we didn't do particularly well, but at the same time, we broke even. And to be honest, I kind of reckon even with our full strength defense there, Amadi probably won't kick 5. But the lack of pressure higher up the ground was just the worrying part, I think, where
big time.
It didn't matter who we had there. I mean, we had them last week and they got exposed, albeit I think the Dogs are probably a better attacking outfit comparative to Sydney. But Sydney have kind of more coming from the midfield, and we just got exposed at different times. Heaney, really unlikable. Goulden, reasonably likable. And Warner, still weird. That's what I think about them. Grundy, very good.
Yes.
And they're just guys that they play well. They've now got like a recognised spearhead. McLean came in, and obviously that was a mismatch because they had two talls on the whole time, so it was kind of the case of, you're constantly changing matchups, and I think that's where the instability came from. Kerno got very little when Leicester was on him, but then that meant that Zach Kostelski was kind of left out to dry on Amadi, and Amadi could just put the body onto him and protect the ball. And then when the change-ups happened, I think McLean kicked a goal on Leicester, and you don't have that continuity that you had a third there. So whether they could have done something about it, I don't know, but they did what they could, and for good portions of the game, it wasn't too bad, but you just wanted to see the midfield take the game and eliminate the necessity for the backline to be exposed.
Yeah.
And they did it reasonably well for half the game, but do it for more. Please, do it for more. Ashcroft, Levi, Dunkley was pretty quiet until after half time when he had a flurry of possessions, but at the same time, him kicking inside 50 is not really what you want.
Definitely not.
So it was a little bit, it was a bit dire. It was a bit dire, but, I'm not super stressed, but we know that I tend to be on the more catatonic end of the scale. So
yeah, look, if this was previous years, I probably would be a little bit more stressed. I mean, I can obviously write this one off and tell you why we lost, and I think it's plain for basically anyone to see. 0 and 2 is obviously not where you want to be. We've done it before. We started 0 and 3 in 24, and look where that went. But I don't know. It's also a case of, if you want to finish top 4, you've got 5 or 6 losses up your sleeve, and there's 2 of them straight off the bat. So you do want to bank as many wins as you can. And we started 5-0 last year in strange circumstances. All those come from behind wins, and managed to net us a top 4 position at the end of the year and afforded us an extra chance come finals time. So that's obviously what you want at the end of the year, and we've obviously put ourselves on the back foot and made it harder for ourselves. But at the same stage, I'm not particularly stressed.
The banking the wins is good because it gives you wiggle room later on in the year to kind of balls up a little bit, but you kind of leave yourself on a knife edge. But some of our greatest seasons have been on the back of those big long runs. Last year was a bit different, but at the same time, I think a lot of the things that have come out were more around the final series and knowing what we could do, and it was a case of stepping up for big games. So whereas the year before obviously went on a pretty mental run, 2001 mental run. A couple of years ago, what were we, 0 and 2, and Bailey scored a goal against Collingwood to kind of get us to 1 and 3, and then we did all right. But I'm not worried about the team. I think that they'll click. It's pretty clear that they'll click. You don't become a bad team in an off season, but you can have some teething issues. And I think certain players, particularly in the second half, I thought when Draper went into the ruck, it kind of gave us a little bit of something. He probably should kick more than no goals.
Yeah.
Personally, I didn't hate the banana. Just didn't quite work.
No.
And I think Alan's copping a lot of flack at the moment, and it's the jury's out. I can't make an assessment. I don't know what the guy can do because we haven't really played any of the games on our turn. I mean, we played the Bulldogs game on our turn, but we were making poor decisions, and I think
I think it's just the annoying thing at the moment, and it's not dire, it is annoying. It's just we've got probably too many players that we sort of can't really judge because they've missed so much footy or they're new to the club. And it's like, Draper, Allen, Link, Kitty, Zach Ostelski's in his second game. There's just too many floating around that you're like, oh, well, once they get going or once they get involved in the team or work out our structures, all that sort of stuff, there's just a little bit too many of those that we've got to sort of carry, I guess, at the moment.
Yeah, and I definitely don't. Surely it's not by design that we were trying to do that. It's needs must. There's no way that they were intending on Noah Answorth to come back and play a full game, or Kadeen. Probably they were assuming Kadeen Coleman would come in and play the first, at least, group of games.
Yep.
Given the bye and play, but probably with more structure around him. And I think he's different to what we're used to, I think, in terms of how our sort of small defenders have operated, even in terms of Wilmot. Zorko had a stinker in the first few quarters of that game. That's the most turnovers I've seen him do. And I think someone made mention that's like, oh, he'll keep doing this even if he's, unless he's got 8 turnovers. And it's like, well, he's got 6. So, but I'm not trying to retire Dane Zorko. I just thought he huffed and puffed and not much worked for him. But at the same time, it's such a finely tuned structure and system that when you lack that connectivity, and not even in one part of the ground, you had 2 players from the forward line, one and a bit from the midfield, multiple from the back line. You're just going, yeah, you kind of can't win a game like that.
No.
Still tipped him though. And
look, good for you. Good for you.
How'd Freo go for you, buddy?
Yeah, I don't know why I tipped them in the end, but that's what you get. Whatever.
We'll come to that much loved segment later on.
Let's just have a chat about some of the new faces, but let's go through a couple of the players here. What did you make of Dan Annabelle's first performance in Lions colours?
Do you want the real assessment or I didn't really notice him all that much, and I don't know if he just was getting to work doing things. I must admit, at one point I was like, wow, he looks a lot like Jared Lyons, but has a lot more speed. So that's fine. But the way his head is with that, kind of, how Jared Lyons had that hair. I didn't notice him do anything egregious, but there were certain times, good overhead mark at one point, but probably a little bit safe, but that's fine. It's his first game. So I think, yeah, fine, but I didn't really, not the right game to really judge, which is probably going to be a repeating thing.
Link, his first game back for
Tackled
the club.
Hard and loved it.
Yep.
Tackle pressure, you can't argue with that. Similar to the preseason game, his disposal was a little bit garbage, but he wasn't alone in that. We kicked the ball out on the full a hell of a lot. Holy moly.
Didn't we?
And I think when you've got a senior player like that, you're probably looking for a little bit more assuredness and calm, which he wasn't really afforded. So physically looked good, looked strong. So I'm happy with that.
Draper?
I liked him, and I liked him going at the lizard. He tried to run it, ran over the lizard and immediately put him in neon belly, and it's like, oh, don't. He's big. He's really big.
He's massive, hey?
And I think that's a point of difference we haven't really had for a long time. Not probably since Big Sauce Merritt, where we've had a big boy. So optimistic. I have noticed something with the taps though in multiple games. So you know how they can't go over the square?
Yep.
Square? The circle. They can't go over halfway of the circle. Clearly I didn't watch enough Play School because I don't know my basic shapes. Quite a few of the ruckmen have been tapping the ball because they kind of come together and flims at it, and it's meh. And the ball's just dropping to the back of the circle, and there's just a free person from the other team standing there. I noticed it about 3 or 4 times, particularly when Draper was in the ruck, and then I noticed it heaps in the Collingwood game afterwards, and I'm like, what? So you just stand a guy at the back of the circle and he just gets the ball. That's really poor tactics. So fix that, everyone. But yes, Draper, I'm looking forward to seeing more of him.
Yeah. Same there. Hopefully, he can evolve and have a little bit more impact. Certainly, either up forward in the ruck, like one of the two, or ideally both. And Noz's first game back for best part of the year as well.
Really good. I think he got a really, really bullshit holding the ball call early, which was like he didn't even have the ball. So it's like, cool. But yeah, really good. Moved extremely well. He didn't look like he'd been injured. Yeah. So good for him.
Just fingers crossed he pulls up okay from the game.
Well, he's got a whole week off, so good for them. Do some fishing or something, or what is it that he does?
It's amazing that the buy has come at the right time, isn't it?
It doesn't really normally happen for us.
No.
I gotta say, it's really funny, all in all, because there's been a lot of chat about opening round and teams that play. Firstly, I can't understand how you have some teams playing teams that haven't played, and then other teams playing teams that have played, and it's like, are you kidding? Seriously? Like, you've got Gold Coast play at home twice, and the second one's against West Coast, and they're probably winning by 170 points in the second quarter. Meanwhile, you've got us playing
10 goals.
Yeah. So, I just can't understand how you don't go, okay, opening round teams. There's now 10 of them. 10?
Yep.
You can all play each other.
Yes.
For the second round too, because I don't think anyone would give two shits about being like, we've played one game, they've played two. Ooh, it's an advantage. No, it's not really. Like, it's fine. But playing one game versus playing none. Funnily enough, we've been the anomaly every time because, we lost to Carlton in that horrible one. Then we lost to Fremantle when it was, I think, their first game and our second game.
That's right.
Last year, we didn't get an opening round. And then we beat Sydney, who had played the week before. And then this year, we lost we were the only Northern club to lose. And then we got absolutely poleaxed by a team that had also played. So fixture integrity doesn't exist, but I just found it unbelievable that Fremantle, West Coast, and both Adelaide teams all travelled.
Yeah.
Like, fucking why? Like, West Coast went to Gold Coast, Freo went to Geelong, Port Adelaide went to Melbourne, and Adelaide... Like, what?
Yeah. It's a bit rich, isn't it?
It's mental. Like, Collingwood playing 2 games at the G. Cool. Like, sucked in, you got beaten. Anyway, that's fuck off opening round. Sorry, Mum.
I think everyone is more and more getting on board with the idea of there's no opening round moving forward, but something tells me it'll stick around because they've committed too hard to it, so they've got to die on that hill. Anything else or anyone else you want to talk about before we just jump into some votes thanks to Hop On Brewery Tours?
I mean, yeah, clearly, but not from this game.
Fine.
Check out the best breweries across Brisbane and the Gold Coast with Hop On Brewery Tours. Book a half or full day tour at hoponbrewerytours.com.au.
All right, well, thanks to hoponbrewerytours.com.au. Book yourself a half or a full day tour. Let's get into some votes. And as I said, they are celebrating their 10th birthday this year. They're having a big celebration at Precinct Brewing on the Gold Coast on the 12th of April. Make sure you check out their Instagram page for all the details there. It should be a good day. Matt and Joss, fantastic people, and great operation they run as well. All right, votes for me. Froggy, the 3. Dunkley, the 2. I thought, compared to last week, he really lifted. And Bruce Reville, the 1. He missed out on a vote from me last week. He's not escaping this week. I thought he's continued his good work. And 2 goals as well for Brucey.
Yeah, nice one. To be perfectly honest, it will 100% be Froggy Lester, the 3 votes, and Bruce Reville, the 2 votes. And I'm going to give Charlie Cameron a vote because he really tried and also kicked kind of a bit schizophrenically, which is annoying. But I just thought his hassling and he was a bit of a threat. He was our only threat for a large portion of the game. But yeah, scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Scraping the bottom of the barrel. Did you hear the stat that it was like the first game that... I mean, it's obviously not that obvious. It is pretty obvious. It is obvious that it was Fagan's first game coaching without both Harris and McCluggage.
Yeah.
Just sort of yeah.
Hugh rarely misses, and I mean Harris has missed from time to time, and weirdly enough, our record without Harris has been good. But we've generally had a few more players to step up and fill the holes when needed. So yes, we won't be doing any Saints preview this week. We'll save that for next week. But I guess just off the bat, there's no twos to talk about either because that got canned.
Do you want to hear about my insane idea?
Sure.
Okay, well, buckle up, buckaroo. So obviously I made a comment about the goal music thing, which then got brought up and talked about. So I posted the video. I don't know if you've seen it, but someone has done the video of
Dom Sheed's goal.
Dom Sheed's goal with 1 week by the Bare Naked Ladies playing. And I found that and dug it out and put it up. And I came up with an idea. Top to bottom, so you have like a goals. If you're going to do goal songs, you have a goal song draft night pre-season where you go top to bottom and the premiers get first pick and every player can pick one song and no one can double up.
Sure.
Imagine Charlie Cameron playing for a premiership so he could keep Country Road. Whereas, if he doesn't, the premier, like some shit kicker, reserve can just pick it just to like block him out of it because you can't double up. I reckon it would be... Did you ever watch Chappelle's show back in the day?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes. Yes and no.
It'd be like the draft that they do in that. If you know, you know. But I reckon it would be entertaining and quite funny. But that's the only positive thing I will say about that aspect of the game because it's just everywhere and it's noise and it's annoying.
I did notice Harry Sharp's goal song was Sweet Caroline. So he's obviously...
Yeah, so he wouldn't be able to have it.
Yeah.
Sydney wouldn't be able to have it play during the halftime or whatever, It's like, nah, if you're not Cam Rayner scoring and you've won the premiership, then no good. I just think it would be funny because you'd be digging out some pretty weird ones, I reckon, if you were West Coast. Sitting there playing, like, Music for Chameleons by Gary Newman or something like that. Like, just obscure. And I think that would be funny because it would be like an ownership thing because everyone knows Charlie Cameron has that song, but no one's stopping someone else using it legally. Make it legal.
It is a wild idea.
Andrew Dillon, call me and give me a bag of cash. You can have that one.
Sure.
He's insane enough to do that. Like, do that instead of opening round.
Yeah, if
you could do it over 3 nights. I'd tune in.
God.
Hate watch. Yeah. So this is where we've got to in our I said last week that was the best moment in my podcasting tenure. This is the lowest of the low.
All right, preliminary changes. Looks like we'll get Darcy Gardner back. Clearly we'll get him back and Zach Bailey back from suspension. From all accounts, Hugh will be available to play as well. Worth noting that I don't know if it is worth noting, Tom Doedee might be available to come in against the Saints.
He's not foregoing football for his budding acting career?
No, I don't believe so. Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
I don't know if anyone else will be available. I guess we'll get an injury report on Tuesday and then another one next Tuesday as well. So those 3, Huey, Darcy and Bales will all be available. Tom Doedee will be available. those three come straight back in for me. Tom Doedee, maybe not. And probably Zach Ostelski. Oh, yeah, Morris will be available as well, yes.
Yep.
Zach Ostelski, Tunstall, the two sort of obvious ones. Maybe Link or Kitty.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one because you definitely would... I don't know. I think you give Zach Ostelski a little bit more of a chance with Gardner and Lester there, in my opinion, because he can kind of play the Harris Andrews role, which he's worked really hard on. And I think it's not the sort of game where you go, well, he got 5 kicked on him by Amati. I don't know that happens if you got both guys there, just by the way that it is. Maybe it does. Maybe I'm wrong. But then it's sort of like, oh, goodness, he's going to be playing on like Cooper Sharman or... not Max King. Maybe Max King?
Nah, I wouldn't have thought so. He'd be ages away. He's missed too much footy. Well, that's a tall team that maybe Darcy Fort gets dropped then, if that's the case, if you're keeping Zach Ostelski in there as well. You can't be having Morris, Gallup, Allen, Draper, Fort, Zach Ostelski, Dizzy, Froggy. That's a tall team.
Yeah, but that's what I said at the beginning of the year, and it got kind of vetoed because I think if Zach Ostelski was Harris Andrews, you would. So then that way you've got the 3 talls in the back line, you've got the 3 pseudo talls in the front half, and then you got your 2 ruckmen. So the only one, and everyone apparently says playing 2 ruckmen. So
it just seems tall, way too tall, especially when Fort and Draper. I mean, neither of them are. We've spoken about Sam Draper and what we hope to see from him moving forward, but I know Darcy Fort seems a little bit down on output so far in the first couple of weeks. He's come up against 2 good.
Yeah, he's come up with. I'd say English and Grundy are the 2. I talked shit about Tim English's not being able to go like Grundy, but more fool me. But they both can go, and that's kind of Fort's not strength. It's his,
well, he's going to be coming up against TDK, so.
But TDK, I don't think is quite the. He's an impact ruckman. He's not a endurance ruckman because he doesn't play enough football to be an endurance ruckman. If it was the other guy, Marshall. Yeah, if it was a Marshall 1-on-1, I'd be a little bit more worried, but I think the 2 rucks with TDK and with Fort and with Marshall and Draper will probably match up reasonably well because they're all wanting to get a little bit of that ruck pie, so it will kind of give a little leverage to them. But TDK rests forward, so I don't know. I just think with Zach Ostelski, like that tall is probably what we're going to expect in the season. The 3 talls at the back and the 2 rucks. And that the reason you can take the 2 rucks is because you got that extra on the bench. So
yeah,
unless Darragh Joyce comes in for Zach Ostelski, but don't know. It's going to be a bit of a wait and see, and I think they'll just probably reassess next week. It's just a matter of cramming in that back line. The half back line's a bit of an issue now. Yeah, because you've got players like. I don't know. I think Link probably drops because of Bailey, and then you're looking at one of them because I would never drop Answorth ever, personally. And you're looking at it going, well, 4 half-backs is sort of too many.
Especially when 3 of them play very similar styles and roles.
Yeah. So, but then a week off could be refreshing for him. What were your thoughts on when's Darcy Wilmot going to go into the midfield? Or what? Why? He's never played midfield in his life. What's with pushing people into the midfield that it's like... I don't understand.
Yeah, I think it's just, you see when Wangan and Malira, what happened with him, and then, occasionally it usually goes the opposite way, like midfielders eventually ending up at halfback, a la Dane Zorko, or, Luke Hodge back in the day.
Hodgie.
Yeah. I think even Sinclair started as a midfielder for the Saints, but sort of Naz has gone the opposite way as a halfback moving into the midfield, and people have liked
now
it.
Now it's a full forward. Nas. But it's just an element of like, you would assume that players like that have probably played in the midfield. Sheasel and stuff played in the midfield, and then they got played at halfback to get easy ball. Whereas Modi was a halfback, he was a general defender in his draft. So I don't know that he was a midfielder that they're like, oh well, we got to give him a spot. He was a runner, so is what it is. But
One day,
I think
perhaps.
the changes will become clearer next week.
Yeah, we'll have a further discussion about that next week in the lead up to the game against the Saints.
EB by Hiker is your home for away games. Live footy on the big screen, good beers, good food, good vibes. 65 Manila Street, East Brisbane.
Let's have a look at tipping, thanks to EB by Hiker, and once again, the game day packages, they've got them coming up for the game against the Saints. Make sure you head to ebbyhiker.com.au, book yourself the game day package, $70, 3-hour drink package, and a meal from the kitchen as well across the course of the game. It starts from about half an hour before kickoff, and you've got to book those tables the day before by midday. But if anyone went along for this one, I hope it was a great time, and I'm looking forward to heading along as well myself.
Would have been a great time, but also grim in certain ways.
And don't forget they're giving away weekly prizes in the way of waypoints for the weekly winner of the tipping competition and the grand final watch party worth $790 for our overall winner at the end of the season.
Beautiful.
I got off to a good start with my tips. Picked the first three. For some unknown reason, I tipped Freo against the Cats. I did tip Sydney, as you know. Yeah. Tipped the Crows, missed out on Port and St Kilda, and I would imagine that my tip for the Suns will come through.
I think that it's pretty safe that will come through. If I had $1 million billion, I would tip Gold Coast to win at like $1.01.
Yeah.
Because you would make $1 million or whatever. So, yeah, I'm annoyed because I thought about things, and when I did that, it didn't go well for me because I was like, oh yeah, Butters and like the Hornet are playing, and it's like apparently Carr, the genius, and like the bulky hero is going to be there. So I ended up changing my tip to bloody Port Adelaide.
They were bad.
And I should have... Well, I didn't get to see it. I was working. But I was livid when I saw that North Melbourne had won, and they've betrayed me yet again. Yes, I tipped Geelong. I tipped the Lions, obviously. I tipped Adelaide. I thought you tipped Collingwood because I think you said you did. You also are a traitor. And St Kilda just are contriving to lose games of football that they should not be losing. And I really hope that continues for 2 more weeks.
Oh, yes.
Because they bungled it so hard in the game last week and this game, where it was just like, come on. They had so many opportunities. They fumbled their lines against Collingwood. And then this one, it's like, Naz kicks a goal. Cool. Take him off for 10 minutes and lose the game while he's off the field. Great strategy. Yeah. Great strategy. Perfect. Harry Sharp's bloody doing donuts around them. What do you say? Outmuscling some 7-foot-tall gigantor. Taking a contested mark. Yeah.
Strange stuff.
Insane. Insane.
Let's have a look to next week.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing that we do. Goodness me, I forgot.
Swans and the Hawks at the MCG. No reason to tip against Sydney at this point in time. The Hawks obviously looked good against Essendon, but it wasn't Essendon.
Goulden dislocated shoulder and Heaney hamstring awareness, because Goulden could be out for a long amount of time. I'm tipping the Hawks.
And obviously last year without Goulden, Sydney looked a shell of themselves. I don't think that's going to be the case for them again this year.
It could. But yeah, I don't like the Hawks, but MCG, Sydney have been up for a couple games. Friday night's a biggie.
Yeah, Adelaide Dogs at the Adelaide Oval.
at the Crow Arena, Crow Home. Adelaide, sure. I mean, the Bulldogs can't keep up this defensive bullshit, right?
Maybe this is it. I think whoever wins this, it will say a lot about them.
I'm gonna say, I don't like Tex Walker. I've got to firmly put that out there. But he did some stuff, because I only watched the last quarter after the debacle that we had, and he did some pretty unbelievable stuff that if it was Pendlebury that did those things at the ripe old age of 73, Howie would have had a seizure. But he could not care less because it was Tex Walker. So putting that out there.
Suns to beat Richmond. Giants to beat the Saints. Freo to beat Melbourne at Optus. Ooh, Port v Essendon. Jesus. And then West Coast North. God, Sunday is looking disgusting. I'm going to tip Essendon to beat Port, and I'm going to tip North to beat West Coast.
Yeah, I'm tipping GWS, but I think St Kilda will win inexplicably. And
Sure.
I'm tipping Port Adelaide because clearly they're going to be the ones that are going to break my weird heart this year.
Okay.
Yeah. But to be perfectly honest, I don't know how much footy I'm going to watch on that Saturday and Sunday because that's awful.
It's
Might
not a
go to
great
the
lineup,
beach.
is it? Friday night is the pick. Actually, Thursday and Friday are both good, and then it's pretty piss from then on.
Like Giants St Kilda's fine, but also it's Giants and St Kilda. Like I don't ever really want to watch St Kilda because they're awful.
I never want to watch St Kilda.
No. And it was funny watching the rear end of St Kilda and Melbourne today. It was like, are there two more boring and like irrelevant teams? No. Not at all. I don't even think Richmond and North Melbourne are more irrelevant. How many goals has Petrarca kicked? Like 17?
Let's have a quick little look-see here. I don't...
Leading the Coleman? No, he's got 3. He had 3 in the first quarter, and now he's still got 3. Ben King's kicked 3. Elliot Yeo back with 2.
Lovely.
Now, let's have a look here.
It's crazy. Ben King's like disposal to goal ratio is almost like 1 for 1. He's had 4 kicks, 4 goals today. But like every week is like that.
Yeah, good for him. Imagine being the other one and watching the television and seeing that being like, that could be me if I'd made different decisions and been not at St Kilda. Harley Reid, 17 disposals, clearly being unlocked by Dev Robertson being there with his 12. So good for him. Ranking the number 40. No Starcevic.
No, he's not going to play straight off the bat. He's had a very injury-interrupted pre-season, so be a while before we see our stars out there.
Chris Marketing are your outsourced marketing managers. From social media and newsletters to design and websites, they handle it all, so you can stay focused on your business. crispcoms.co.
It's back.
Yeah, right. Nodding and Adcock.
Yes, our Who Played More Games game is back this week after its roaring success last week.
By the way, did you see the leaked kit for the Heritage Round this year?
Very keen on that. I'm going to start
Pump it into my veins, please.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Like, right into my veins. Directly into said veins.
All right. Jed Adcock, Tim Nodding is your first matchup. Who played more games for the Brisbane Lions? Brisbane Lions only.
Did you pick these two because they're not super fond in my mind, or? I do remember about a 10-year-old me. Is this also just a vessel to get anecdotes about footballers out of me, or is
not
you like
that.
clock's ticking, buddy? Well, so Tim Nodding got a little bit pissed off with me. I think in 2001 when I was sort of sitting there getting your shit signed, your flags and whatnot, and I was like, "Can I get your signature?" And he's like, "I've already signed yours. It's right there." And I was like, "Oh, sorry."
It's a bit rude, Possum.
Yeah. I mean, I was probably a degenerate small child. So with that in mind, I'm going to go for the Jed stuff.
Tim Notting 208. Jed Ocock 206. And then I don't know how many games he played for the Dogs. 5.
3.
Your next one,
yeah.
Lockie Neal and Oscar McInerney. Brisbane Lions only.
Neil.
Big O 165 and Lockie Neal 160 for us. Not off to a good start.
Yes.
All right, Robbie Copeland and Pierce Hanley.
Even Copeland, because I like him more.
Yes, 143 for Robbie Copeland and then 129 for Pierce Hanley.
Copeland made Team of the Century at like the Labrador. No, that's not right. Maybe it is. I don't know. He's bloody good. I love Copeland.
Yeah. Your next one is Justin Sherman and Squizzy Taylor.
I hate that it's got to be one of these people is the answer. Shermanator, it's funnier.
114 for Sherman, 112 for Squiz.
How did the Shermanator play 114 games
Mate,
for us?
That
We were terrible.
That's during the time where most people could get a game.
Oh, no. It's that guy.
Yeah,
that
Ron
went to
Bjork,
Port
Sam
Adelaide.
Mays.
Sam Mays. Oh, Sam Mays was so bad for how good he probably should have been. Remember to play the player. Sam Mays.
Ron Bjork 103.
You got it done the opposite. You knew that I would play you on that one, so you I feel like it would. Oh, that's the end.
That's the end for this week, yeah.
You got to tell me when it's the last one so that I can really ham it up there.
You did well.
Where's your showmanship? No, I didn't do. I got 2 from 7 or something.
It's good fun. It'll be back next week, or maybe I'll change it up as well. Who knows?
You could also do it like how many kicks or how many goals or how many like I don't know. Other arbitrary, how many bounces? Remember that one where like Michael Voss has like a really weird number of hitouts? It's like 4.
I did not know that. Let's have a look. Let's look that up in real time.
It's like who has more hitouts out of Charlie Cameron and Michael Voss? It's like Michael Voss by 3-1. I think it's in like the 2004 season. He has like 3 spikes.
Michael Voss has 28 hitouts in his career.
What? Why? He's got more hitouts than Fullerton.
Yeah, 2004 was his big year. He had 7 hitouts.
Yeah. I don't know why I know that, but I feel like you're in a weird place in your life if you're reading football stats arbitrarily.
Yeah.
I think
That's
we
crazy.
both do that, don't we?
I would never have guessed that, but there you go. I hope people have learned something today that Michael Voss has 28 career hitouts.
He's 28 times better at hitouts than he is at coaching. I can guarantee you that.
We got
One hit. He should use those hitouts to hit each one of his players and himself for the remainder of the 5 that he's got left over. It's 23 and then 8. Hit himself. I'm going up the garden path here.
Yeah, I reckon let's cap things there. It hasn't been a good week for the Brisbane Lions. So
It hasn't been a good week for Vossi either.
No, it certainly hasn't. Hey,
I know they
got
got the win, but some wins are losses. And
hey, I would take one of the loss-based wins at the moment.
Yeah, but he's not going to have a job. Like, loss-based wins, whatever. If we beat
one right now.
Richmond by 4 points, and that's the end of that.
And Tom Lynch kicks 2 goals 7.
Yeah, not a great night in front of the sticks. Around the ground, he looked youthful, looked about 3 years younger. So, Lawler's a good player. How good?
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how he progresses.
Hopefully not against us. But
No, definitely not. Let's wrap things up there this week. We'll be back next week with a little bit more pep in our step, hopefully, and a little bit more hope in the jar. Speaking of jars, put some money in our tip jar, please. BrisbaneLionsFancast.com.au.